With the new year here, I wanted to reflect back on my 2023 even more than I did in my last video. The good, the bad, and the ugly, what I learned, and what I want to characterize my life in 2024. 2023 was a year I'd characterize by saying it was a year of struggle. Outside of a few very big highlights, there's really not a lot of 2023 that I look back on with a hell yes, this is a year that I would love to repeat. To say it was all bad would be untrue. To say that I regret all of the difficulties and the struggles would also be untrue. But it was a tough year. In that way, it looks a lot like 2022, 2021, and 2020 for me. The last 4 years have really been pretty gnarly and not what I had hoped that they would be. So we went through the pandemic in 2020 and 2021, and while there were some bright spots in those years, those also were some pretty dark years full of stress, uncertainty, and struggle. You know, my business did not do well. People I knew died from COVID. 2022 saw the full-scale Russian invasion of Ukraine happen, and suddenly I found myself as a lifeline to friends who were getting bombed daily and friends under Russian occupation. You know, the end of 2022 did see those friends liberated, but the attacks continued on them and other friends, and the war is still going on. I was in a constant state of stress and fear and uncertainty. And 2023 saw my continued involvement in advocating for Ukrainians, sometimes to an unhealthy degree. I spent a lot of time on Twitter, on Telegram, on news websites, making videos, talking to friends in Ukraine, attending fundraisers and rallies and stuff. And, you know, just generally really trying to support Ukrainian friends, both in Ukraine and in the States. You know, I was very, very generous with charities, sometimes to a degree that caused harm in my personal finances. And, you know, it all took its toll. I'm not going to say that it didn't. You know, I don't regret it. I don't regret the friendships that I built or the work that I accomplished. But I will say, like, the mental toll of seeing images and videos of the worst of what humans can do to each other day after day after day really affected me deeply in not great ways. You know, trying to calm down and comfort friends when they could hear explosions outside their apartments, and you know, I couldn't tell them, you know, I know you're going to be fine, because how can you know that if rockets are flying? Yeah, that was draining. You know, not being able to stop the suffering, to take away the pain, or fix the situation was exhausting and frustrating. And seeing so many ignorant people saying, fuck Ukraine, or Ukrainians are Nazis, or Ukrainians are stealing our tax dollars, and far worse, you know, as I am witnessing the destruction day after day after day through my friends of what's going on inside Ukraine, you know, that ate at me. And just the vicious exchanges that I'd have with ignorant people quoting Russian propaganda were infuriating. And, you know, the nagging feeling that as Western support starts to slack off, that Ukraine might not win this war, and that my friends might become the victims of war crimes, like, that fills me with anxiety and horror. To say that I've lost sleep, mental health, lost creativity, and drive would be understatements. You know, of all the painful things that I have gone through this year, though, this one I wouldn't change. Unless, of course, you know, I could snap my fingers and stop the Russian invasion even before it ever began. Then, of course, I would take that option. But this has been a really, really strong feature of this year. You know, this year has also been one of more fully letting go of Christianity and religion in general. You know, a lot of this channel has been about that. Last December, I posted the video discussing my journey of deconstruction. A lot of people saw that video, and that's how you guys are watching this one. I didn't think, much of that video at the time when I recorded it and just posted it. It was just another kind of random video for me until it blew up. And, I started getting attacked by Christians, accused of being a Judas, told that I'd never been a Christian, was assured that I would definitely burn in hell. And in this way, the year's been one of kind of like refining what I believe, trying to figure out how to both stand my ground, but also not be overly tense and aggressive and not necessarily be like the angry atheist. And like, I certainly haven't done that perfectly. Like, you can look at my comment sections. I have not done that perfectly. I've probably struck back at quite a few commenters much too hard, been a little bit of an ass, but I'm also kind of okay with that because for most of my life, I've not stood up for myself at all. And that's been far, far more costly to me than coming on too strongly to a few bad faith commenters on a tiny YouTube channel. It definitely has helped me to grow a little bit of a thicker skin and be more confident in what I'm saying and how I present myself. 2023 also saw me travel to Hawaii for the first time to hang out with a friend and shoot a lot of super fun video content. It was a wonderful trip and most definitely the highlight of my 2023. There's almost nothing I would change about that trip. I got to have new adventures, see new sights, enjoy Kona coffee, and truly live my life for a few days in a way that I don't normally get to do, and it was amazing. Really, my only regret is that I didn't seize what I felt in that experience to fuel me to create more of those experiences later on in 2023. So that was some of the biggest highlights and the lowlights of my 2023. But let's talk about 2024. What do I want more of in 2024? I'm thinking of 2024 as the year of rebuilding and gaining sustainable momentum for myself. That means my business, my creative endeavors, traveling, friendships, my other YouTube channels, and this YouTube channel. It means finding more community in my life. But what do I mean by sustainable momentum though? That's kind of like a buzzy word that I just kind of pulled up. And what I mean by that is historically I've got a habit. I start to build momentum, I get some success, and then I kind of let off the gas. I kind of coast for a little while, and then I fail, and then I have to start again. Or I derail myself with mistakes or choosing to go on some different path rather than kind of staying the course. And in 2024, I really want to build that sustainable business, that sustainable workflow with my YouTube channels, sustainable workflow with my TikTok channels, with all of my creative passion projects, and really start living my dream life as a creator, as well as having, some life, some friends outside of that. Really in a sustainable way, not a way that I'm going to burn out or divert. A fun, sustainable, focused, passionate way, doing what I love to do, what I care about. And for me, that's everything. I have numbers goals for my business, for how much content I want to produce, but I'm very ready to adjust those numbers to create sustainability. 2024 is going to be a year of focus, a year where I buckle down to create the life I want. So that going forward, I can live, really live and not just exist. In my spare time, I want to work at improving, my special effects makeup skills. I love doing the gore and the special effects stuff. I want to get more back into ballroom dancing again. I love ballroom dancing in that community. And I want to up my boudoir and fashion videography game as well. And some of that is going to bleed into work that I'm doing on my other filmmaking YouTube channel, but a lot of it is also just going to look like me taking some courses, playing with techniques, and just practicing my craft. For me, my life has always been about storytelling and creativity. And since 2005, it's really been about filmmaking and videography. I am obsessed with the medium. I cannot tell you how obsessed I am with the medium. Just completely obsessed. And so I'm going to really lean into that again in a lot of different forms in this next year. This past year, I actually only shot one short film, and then I did 17 little creative fashion videos. And many of those were actually just in the week that I was in Hawaii, about a third of them were just in that same week. So I didn't do nearly as much truly fun and creative work as I wanted to really feed my soul, when I look back on it. And so in 2024, I really want to push that further. I want to make more short films, either more creative shoots or more in-depth and intense creative shoots, so that I can really be truly passionate and living that dream while being sustainable. So that's really what I'm excited about in 2024, kind of the reflections on 2023, what I'm looking forward to in 2024. But let me know in the comments below what your reflections of 2023 were and what you are excited about in your life in 2024. Have a fantastic day and a fantastic year.